Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today I am working on the 4-star General Revisited. That's the pattern that I'm working on. We are now on month 3. So let's build month 3's blocks. Again, if you can get the pattern somewhere and follow along with it, this is it. But the sew along with Teaquilts is full and there's no more patterns available that way. So if you get this in the future, here's at least some videos for you to follow along with. So without further ado, let's get to putting together the 4 blocks that make one large block for month 3. Okay, so we are going to make a capital T variation. There is the block right there. The B's are for my black color or background. I'm using black, so the light is in place. My black is in place of the light. So I have my light fabric here. My main fabric cuts are here. And my accent color fabrics are here. So let's get, oh no, this is my main and these are my accents. Look at that. Interesting. Well, let's just get to putting this together. All right, so the first thing we need to do is take our accent and my background color, which is black, or for you guys would be light as according to the instructions. And we're going to take all of these from every single one of these piles right here. Oops, let's make sure I keep all my pieces together. And I'm going to take all of them over to the machine and I'm going to make half square triangles. And normally you can draw or press your line. I am going to just be using my seam tape. The other 2 right there. Let's grab that out. All right, so here's all my block pieces over here. That way I can remember there. Now in 4 separate groups. And we're going to take all these over to the sewing machine and you can draw a line from corner to corner. You can press a line like this. And we're going to be sewing on both sides of a line. So let's go to the machine and get that done. All right, we're at the machine. I'm going to take all of these. We're going to put them right sides together. My black is my background. And I'm actually going to put the center right now on this 1/4 inch line right here. And when I go the other side, I'll do this 1/4 inch line right here instead of drawing a line. So I'm going to start by, well, I'm on this side now. It'd be nice if I had a lesser of a stitch length. So I'm going to keep that corner on that line. So there's my 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to put it on that line again. Just like this. And I'm going to go ahead and chain piece the rest of them, but I was just showing you. Let's, once I open this up, I'll have 1 and 2 half square triangles. So let me go ahead and sew all of these. And I'll put you in fast forward while I do so. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim these. The pattern, I think, wants us to trim them down pretty small, but I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half and then do some trimming. so as you can see, this pattern does have some waist. I don't know why they had them over measured and trimmed to the size that it says in the pattern, but that's just what they did. So that's just what we're going to go with. So a little bit of waist ain't hurting nothing, but I prefer patterns that have no waist. I'm going to take these over now to the iron, and I'm going to press them all towards the black, which is the background. I don't even know if the pattern says to or not to press a certain way, but I'm going to press towards my black, which makes it a lot easier. So let's go over to the iron and do that. Okay, so now that I got all the half square triangles done, now it's time to take all of these and all of these, so all of the accent color and main color and the light color, the little squares and the big rectangles. It's time to take all of these over and make flying geese. So I'm just going to throw all my pieces over there because that's just how I'm going to work today. Let's make flying geese units at the sewing machine. Okay, so if you haven't made a flying geese unit before, what we're going to do is, make sure that those don't fall. I guess I'll move them over temporarily. I'm just going to be running them all through, but I'm going to show you one for now. So we're going to take one of our accent colors. We're going to take one of these main colors, squares, and we're going to sew from this top corner down to this bottom corner, and just like this. And then we're going to take one of the light colors, or in my case dark background, and another one of these main colors, and we're going to sew one on this, like this. And for now I'm just going to show you how this works. So once this is done, we're going to cut away a 1/4 inch away seam allowance, just like that. 1/4 inch away seam allowance, and I'm just guessing because I'm using scissors here so that I don't have to get up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finger press towards that background, or my main focal print, and on this one I'm going to finger press towards the main focal print. Then we're going to take another one of our main fabrics and we're going to put it on that opposite side of both of these, opposite side. And now we're going to sew from this edge. I'm turning it upside down. You could always do it this way too, but I'm going to turn mine upside down. It makes me think easier. We're going to go from this top corner to this point right here. So watch how I do this. We're going to go from this top right here to that point. And we're going to grab this one and we're going to repeat that process just like this. It's nice and lined up. So now you can see that I've sewn from one tip to another so that when I open this up, it becomes a little tiny flying geese. So again, trim away 1/4 inch, just like that. I'm going to toss those over in my little tiny scrap pile, and we're going to fold this back, and just with my finger, I'm going to press it like this, or you can use a pressing tool. It's such a small seam, and you got to be careful because it is stretchy. So this is what we're making, a unit with the background and a unit with our accent. So we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to put you in fast forward, and I'm going to sew all of my units now. So I'm going to sew the one side on all of them, and then the other side on the rest. So I'm just going to go ahead and put you in fast forward while I do this. now it is time. Sorry, didn't mean to yell on the mic. Now it is time to lay the blocks out. And last time I just showed one. This time I'm just laying them all out. So I'm going to start by putting my center square. And then I'm going to have this fabric facing outward and my background facing inward, like this. And then these guys, it looks like are going to face this way, I think. I don't know. This diagram kind of sucks. And then that goes here, like that. This diagram really sucks. Okay, so we're just going to put all the pinks in the center. And I know you can barely see right here in this corner. And then, oh, that goes that way. And that goes out that way. And that goes out that way. I'm thinking that's the way it goes. Let's lay out another one and then we'll look at the chart again because for some strange reason, to me, this looks really weird. It's like a shoe fly, and then it's like a star. That, like that, like that, 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 and that. I'm thinking that's what it is. It looks like it, but the diagram is pretty much, let me try to bring it to the bottom of the screen. Right there, you can see it's really dark right there. So I'm assuming that's supposed to be a star and that's supposed to be my background and that's supposed to be the black. So let's lay another one out. Over here, oops. Yeah, black goes to the inside, 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 inside. And then star points. Oops, not with the black. It's the pink first. Star points in, and in. Then adding the black. Facing out. And out, just like that. Yeah. Okay. Next. So again, the black faces in for me. That. Those are the outer sides. We want the inner sides. So we're going to go star point, star point, star point, and one more. Star point. Then add these guys. Like this. Just like that. So now I need to sew these groups together. So we're going to go over to the machine and sew all those groups together and then lay them back where they go so that I know that I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so they're all laid out right here so that you can see all in the camera frame, just like this. Now I'm going to chain piece the lot of them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's keep this one closest to me. Let's see if you get this in the camera frame here. We'll make sure of it by doing this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all of them like this. I'm going to keep them a little bit separated, just like that. And I'm going to take the next ones middle, bottom, top and bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom. Then I'm going to grab the next one. Top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom, and the last, just like this, stacking the whole lot of them up because I'm going to stitch them all together in a row. So here's how this works. I'm going to take the first two, just like this, put them right sides together, second two right sides together, third two right sides together. And then I'm going to keep going all the way until all four of those are done. Then all I have to do is in order 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 until those are done. So let's go to the sewing machine and look. So as you can see, I have them all right here on the bed of my machine. But what I'm going to do, so that way I keep everything without turning or moving, I'm going to take this third row because I don't need it right away over to here. I'm going to leave it on that side of the machine. So it's on this side that you can't really see in the camera. Okay. Then I'm going to grab the first two, just like this. I'm not going to move, flip, or turn anything. I'm just going to sew these right sides together. Just like that. Then I'm going to grab the second two, right sides together. Then I'm going to grab the third, right sides together. And I'm going to repeat this over and over until all of them are done. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have all of them together. I'm just going to go right back to the top again, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to grab my top piece from in my throat space. Just going to grab that first one from in my throat space, and I'm going to sew that on. Now the middle one from in my throat space, put that on. And the final piece from in the throat space, put that on. And repeat. Okay, so now that they're done, we're going to keep them in sets of 3. So these 3 go together, snip, snip. These 3 go together, snip, snip. These 3 go together, snip, snip. And these 3 are together, no snipping. So now we're just going to open them, and I'm just going to finger press them like this. So these are going to go in, those are in, or no, out, and then in, and then this last one will be out, just like this. And then I'm going to put them right sides together. I'm going to nest my seams, which should be fairly easy to do. And then sew on through. I'm going to go to the next junction, line it up, sew it, and line up the end. My blocks are probably going to be a little on the wonky side because I don't think I didn't starch anything and I didn't do anything specific, so, and I really don't care right now. So here we're lining up the next. If I can get it to stay right there. Just like this. I don't know what's happening here. I have a tangle up at my foot. That's always nice when that happens, huh? I'm going to have to rip that apart right there on the end. Oh, maybe not. Looks fine to me. I'm just going to press it nice and flat. All right, so there's one. Second one, again, I'm going to press out towards my background, in towards my main color fabric, and out towards my background. And I'm going to repeat. So I'm going to put you in fast forward while I repeat these steps over and over till they're all done. All right, now for the last and final step. And as you can see, my blocks are a little on the sloppy side, but that's because I'm having issues with my head and getting things correct and accurate. All right, so I'm going to take these, opposite side them like this. And the next step is to add the sashing between here and there, just like that. So that piece goes there, that piece goes there, and then we're going to add a sashing piece there. So first, let me put in the camera. Let me put those two sashing pieces in and I'll be right back. Okay, so those two sides are together. Now it's time to add this piece of sashing. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you first, I'm going to attach it to this side. And then I'm going to show you how I line this bottom up so that way it's one continuous straight line since there is no cornerstone here. So we're going to go ahead and attach this side and I'll be right back. I never know why I keep saying be right back when the video is continuous. Duh. Anyway, so here's those two pieces. It's attached here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one right sides together with that one. And I'm going to zoom in for you. Oh, you can see my lousy piecing now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this here and I'm going to peel it back just like this. Now you can see where my fingers are here and here. Can you tell that it's one continuous line? Just like that. So when I peel it back, I know that it needs to sit exactly right here. So what I'm going to do is throw some pins in it. For video's sake, obviously, we have to use some pins. And I'm just going to put one pin right here. And one pin right here. Just like this. And I'm going to fold it back again and look to see that this is one continuous line. And it is. So what I'm going to do is put it back this way. I'll line up this end. Throw a pin in it. And then I'm going to go to this side, line that up, throw a pin in it, and then sew on down that seam. So I will be right back. Okay, here is the finished block. So now you can see it is one continuous line. By using the pins, it makes it look complete, properly. So yeah, this is month 3. We're going to go on to the next one next month. Again, I post these on the 21st of every month for the next 12 months, which now we have not 12 left anymore, but what was I getting at? I don't know. Here's the pattern again 4-Star Generals Revisited by Yellow Creek Quilt Designs, Kindred Spirits. That's the pattern. Let's do a review of the 3 months real quick. All right, here's a review. There's all the blocks. So this is the first month. Was this the first month? I think this was the first month. Then we had the second one, which was that. Pretty sure it was the second one. And this is the third. So there we have it. All of the blocks. Nice and pretty. I'm scattering around lots of color into mine. There we have it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.